All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are going to objectively analyze a genuinely provocative piece of writing called The Sovereign Architecture of Self-Reliance. It's a really fascinating text that operates right at this intersection of human health and macroeconomic incentives. I'm genuinely excited to unpack this with you. We're going to map out the author's exact claims to visually break down a pretty controversial worldview, one that suggests our very well-being might actually be completely at odds with the global economy.
Okay, let's dive into this. The author builds their entire argument upon one highly polarizing central thesis, which is simply, is your health bad for business? The text suggests that the modern economic system actually thrives on human weakness. It's a jarring question to ask yourself, isn't it? The author argues that vast networks of businesses, we're talking pharmaceuticals, healthcare providers, insurance companies, inherently rely on a baseline of unwellness to generate profit. By placing this question front and center, the text is really challenging us to look at our daily lives through a strictly transactional lens.
So that brings us to Section 1, the system's true customer.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how starkly the author draws the battle lines between vulnerability and strength. The text views the modern economy not as some neutral marketplace, but as a nexus of businesses that actively profit from specific human conditions. The claim here is that the system actually wants specific traits in its consumers. It wants us to be unaware, disempowered, in debt, stressed, and isolated. The author theorizes that these vulnerable states make people highly dependent on external corporate solutions. In partially contrasting this, the text argues that strong traits, being a critical thinker, feeling empowered, living a disciplined life, embracing holistic practices, well, those make you a terrible customer. Why? Because according to this framework, an independent, strong person simply doesn't need to buy what this massive nexus of businesses is selling.
The author goes a step further here to explicitly list out these profitable states of being: unaware, uneducated, disempowered, poor, unhealthy, and living in stress and anxiety. According to the source material, fear, ignorance, and mediocrity are not just unfortunate societal side effects, they're actually highly lucrative conditions. The author posits there is literal big money to be made off people's ignorance and fear. Think about it. If you're anxious, you consume more. If you're uneducated about your body, you rely completely on external fixes. The text is essentially claiming that the system actively capitalizes on keeping people in these suppressed states.
Moving right along to Section 2, habits bad for business.
So, if those vulnerable conditions fuel the machine, what happens when we actively try to break out of them? The text outlines specific, everyday actions that it claims disrupt these corporate profit models. The author gives us a very specific list of positive practices. As we go through them, notice how the author positions every single one of these common, healthy habits as fundamentally bad for the system's bottom line. Exercising daily, no matter what, bad for business. Eating healthy, whole foods, bad for business. Banning junk food ads on kids' channels, bad for business. Promoting nutritional supplements like vitamins or mushrooms that boost our bodies, that is absolutely bad for business. Even prioritizing sleep or teaching our kids emotional strength and financial planning. According to the text, all of these actions threaten the revenue streams of major corporations by reducing our dependency on them.
So, the crucial point is captured perfectly in this quote right from the text. Anything that makes us better, stronger, and empowered is generally not good for money-making corporates and our system in general. This summarizes the author's stark, unyielding conclusion about the friction between genuine self-improvement and corporate interests. The text is literally arguing that there is a fundamental misalignment between what is best for a human being and what is best for a corporate balance sheet.
Which leads into Section 3, the economic catch-22. And this brilliantly illustrates the catch. The author doesn't just point fingers, they acknowledge a massive systemic complexity. We can't simply dismantle these harmful industries overnight, even if we wanted to. Take a look at this. Imagine a hypothetical positive action, completely banning the tobacco and alcohol industries. On the surface, from a pure health perspective, it's a win. But the systemic consequence mapped out here is total chaos, massive unemployment, the destruction of family livelihoods, and a devastating negative impact on the whole economy. The text openly admits that we are kind of helpless in that regard. It's like a giant puzzle where the system is so deeply intertwined that curing the societal disease too quickly could actually crash the patient, meaning the global economy itself. This complex reality is encapsulated in this profoundly layered quote: "Our system has everything to keep us alive, but it is not designed to make us live our life to the fullest." The author views the modern world as a highly engineered trap. We've built an infrastructure that ensures baseline survival, right? We're kept alive to work, to consume, to participate in the economy. But according to this argument, the architecture of our society is distinctly not designed to promote true human flourishing, peak health, or absolute joy.
Let's look at Section 4, Taking Back Control. Knowing all of this, how does the author suggest we actually move forward? Let's move to and see how this builds. With such an entrenched system working against our well-being, the ultimate question posed is, so what is in our personal control? If we can't ban harmful industries without crashing the economy, and if corporate interests are totally misaligned with our health, how do we navigate this space?
Well, the text offers a very clear, uncompromising core solution. Take full responsibility of your life and well-being. The author argues for a philosophy of radical self-reliance. The idea here is that the system simply does not care about you, so waiting for regulations or corporations or society to suddenly prioritize your health is a losing game. The text insists on the necessity of ignoring the vast global forces that are beyond our immediate influence and turning all of our focus strictly inward.
The author breaks down this actionable architecture for personal sovereignty into 3 really clear steps. Step 1. Ignore what is beyond your control. Just don't waste your energy fighting the entire interconnected corporate system. Step 2. Work with what you have, wherever you are. Do whatever you can within your current means. And Step 3. Invest in yourself. The author's entire framework rests on the belief that you must actively and consciously choose to build your own resilience, day by day, habit by habit, entirely outside of the system's preferred parameters.
We'll conclude our explainer today with this final striking thought from the author. The best investment you could ever make is investment in your self-growth and self-care. By mapping out the source material today, we've seen a worldview that suggests the economy thrives when you are weak, but you only thrive when you make yourself strong. It leaves us with a fascinating, provocative question to ask ourselves. Look closely at your daily routines. Are your habits currently funding your own growth, or are they just funding the system? Thanks for exploring this structured breakdown with me today.